going on, guys? Welcome in. Adam here from OrlandoDrummer.com, and thank you guys for checking out another drum lesson. It's been a really busy few months here in Orlando. Not only did we just finish a crazy Cyber Monday, we had a huge sale on OrlandoDrummer.com, which was awesome. I had a great response there. So that kept me really busy, but more so over the past 2 months, what I've been doing is working with Drumeo, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen already. I'm officially one of the Drumeo satellite instructors, so I've been working on live streaming. We broadcast out of this room, and there's a big learning curve there. It's pretty tough, but the good news is I am bringing live streaming lessons to OrlandoDrummer.com in the very near future, so definitely stay tuned for that. And before we get started with today's lesson, I wanted to tell you guys there are a million new things on OrlandoDrummer.com that you guys should go check out. There are new master classes, new boot camps, and all sorts of different lessons that I've put together for you guys. So I've been really busy creating a lot of new content. Definitely go check that out at OrlandoDrummer.com after this lesson. So what we're doing today is learning a pop fill, that I would call it. When I think of what makes a pop fill, it's basically that it's useful or that it's tasteful, that you can actually use it on a gig. Because a lot of times in pop music, well, it's designed to be popular, so there's not a lot of abstract playing. So this fill is what I would consider a pop drum fill that could certainly be modified to fit funk, gospel, fusion, or any of those genres. What we're actually playing today is a fill that is in 16th notes, and it's based off of the inverted double stroke. So the inverted double stroke is essentially regular double strokes, right, left, right, left. And we're going to take the very first note and cut that off. So we're starting with a single right, and then we just continue like nothing ever happened. Now, that very first right has to fall on the 1, so it messes up the phrasing of the double strokes, but that's sort of what makes inverted double strokes so cool. So what we're going to be doing, instead of playing a regular inverted double stroke roll, we're going to be involving our foot. So the way to do that is to write out a regular inverted double stroke roll. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And we're going to take all of the left hands and instead replace them with a kick drum. So let's go ahead and play that just on kick and snare to get a feel of what that would sound like, and then we'll move on to some of the next steps. Alright guys, so if we have that feel down with the inverted doubles played between our hands and our feet, that shouldn't be too hard. Now once we get that down, we're going to change our pattern a little bit. And what I'm going to be doing is, instead of playing a right, that's going to turn into a left, right. Now the reason we're doing this is because about a month ago, I asked on Instagram, which is where I keep in touch with a ton of you guys. So if you guys aren't on Instagram, please go follow InstaChops. I asked on Instagram, what are some of the things that you guys are working on? And an overwhelming response was that people said we're having trouble with our left hand. And the way I look at a left hand that has trouble, think about your left hand like an irresponsible teenager that never moved out of mom's house, that never got a job. If you don't put some responsibility or some work onto one of your limbs, it's never really going to improve. Just like that kid that never moved out of his house and never went and got a job. So if you want your left hand to improve, you got to give it some responsibility and give it some work. And that's really why we're going to be playing this fill as left, right. So our pattern now, if we plug in left, right instead of right, would be right, kick, left, right, kick, left, right, kick, left, right, kick, left. So with that said, let's just play that pattern, kick and snare, at 2 different speeds, then we'll talk about ways we can orchestrate it. All right, guys, if you're feeling good with this, the next thing to do is just to take this around the toms. So we're basically going to play that very first right hand as an accented note on the snare, and the next set of left-right will go up on our rack tom. The next two sets of left-right will both be down on the floor tom, and then we're going to have a big single left hand that's on the of 4, the very last note of the group. We're going to play that as an accented snare, and then we're just going to crash out. Let's give that a shot just around the toms. I'll put the notation on the screen. Let's give it a shot. Now, to add a little bit of flair to this fill, one thing I like to do, instead of just having that loud accent on the very last note on the snare, we can make that a flam between a cymbal and a snare, or the hi-hat and the snare. I'll show you guys what that sounds like too. It's definitely a really cool trick that you want to incorporate into this fill. Let's check that out. All right, guys, now the final thing that you can really do with a pattern like this is take advantage of the fact that we're playing left-right. What that lets us do is separate our hands across the drum set, so we're not crossing over to do certain patterns. So, for example, we can play those left-rights as hi-hat and then a tom, or hi-hat and then a snare. And that's really easy to do because our left hand is leading this entire fill. So not only are you strengthening your left hand by playing a pattern like this, but you're also opening up a whole world of orchestrations that you can do. I'll show you guys a few examples of how you can orchestrate this same pattern a little bit differently, and you can use that left-right to your advantage around the kit. Let's check out some examples. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today, but thank you so much for taking the time to watch this drum lesson. If you have any questions, as always, the best way to get a hold of me is through OrlandoDrummer.com. But of course, you can always get a hold of me through Facebook and Instagram. Both of those are updated way more frequently than YouTube, so make sure you guys check that out. There's a lot of cool content on both of those sites, and the links are directly below in the description. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you soon.